The day before Thamtan Mat and I were supposed to get our marriage certificate, she suddenly went to the temple. She said she wanted to pray for a safety charm, just for me. I instantly guessed she was planning to sabotage my car, just so she could finally run away with her completely broke lover with zero issues. After she placed that charm around my neck, I just calmly told her the car was already sent in for maintenance. Tomorrow, we would simply take a taxi to the Civil Affairs Bureau for the paperwork.
Thamtan Mat went completely pale, tossing and turning all night without any sleep.
The very next morning, she kissed me with red eyes, swearing to love me forever. Outside the Civil Affairs Bureau, packed reporters were live streaming our wedding of the century. Then the staff asked, "Do you both confirm you are getting married completely willingly?"
Thamtan Mat suddenly jumped up, her voice trembling. She apologized, claiming she could never betray true love just for money.
She said she thought she could handle life without him, but just could not do it. Right after saying that, she turned and dashed straight into the massive crowd, sprinting eagerly toward a delivery guy waiting in the corner. The whole hall went into shock as camera flashes went absolutely crazy. Overnight, I became the biggest joke in high society. You feel that tension building? The guy whose fiancé got snatched by a delivery man. I stared at the car brake inspection report on my phone, my heart turning completely freezing cold. If she chose to use my downfall to pave the way for her romance, she shouldn't blame me for dragging them both into absolute ruin. The bureau turned into a chaotic battlefield, while I became the absolute biggest clown of the year. On my phone screen, the inspection report from the auto repair shop was crystal clear. The check clearly revealed that the brake fluid line had obvious signs of deliberate human sabotage. They suggested immediate repairs and calling the police right away. I was not even angry, and I did not need to investigate. I just quietly watched Thamtan Mat run out the main gates, like a butterfly finally escaping its cage. She threw herself straight into the arms of a man wearing a blue delivery uniform, Tattoo, the pure, kind-hearted soulmate she never stopped talking about. Right now, he held my so-called fiancé incredibly close, staging a deeply emotional reunion after a long time apart, right in front of every single camera in the city. The absolute #1 trending headline was about a rich heiress fleeing her own wedding for true love. At the century's biggest union, the runaway bride ran straight to a humble delivery man. The comment section below totally tore me apart. People joked this guy was a heavenly saint, simply here to save absolutely everyone from suffering. His fiancée ran off with a delivery guy, so his charm must honestly be on a cosmic level of bad. Someone sarcastically suggested he start a class. The absolute best male lead of the year, perfectly deserving to debut center stage. Reading it all, I shut my phone off. I locked myself inside the empty bridal suite, constantly replaying our conversation from last night in my head. When she hung that cheap safety charm around my neck, her hands were literally shaking as she begged me to wear it. "Trentrak," she said, "you absolutely have to wear this to stay completely safe." At that exact moment, I just calmly replied that the car went for maintenance, so we would simply take a taxi tomorrow. Her face instantly turned stark white, her eyes flashing with pure panic and heavy guilt. She asked why I maintained a perfectly good car, and I told her it was just for peace of mind. Thinking back, she was never afraid of me worrying. She was absolutely terrified I would stay too perfectly safe to be permanently eliminated. Love is truly grand. So grand that it required taking me out of the picture entirely, just to fund the startup capital for their getaway. I grabbed the post-marriage asset transfer contract I had prepared for her. I violently crossed out her name with a pen and tore it to shreds. Watch this move. Since they wanted an epic romance movie, an investor like me just had to add a super dramatic scene for them. I wanted their pure love to turn into toxic poison, making them tear each other apart, trapped in a total misery where they can never move on. The very next day, Thamtan Mat and Tattoo brought reporters straight to my doorstep. Not the main company, but my actual family home. They were clever, knowing my parents were home. With family honor on the line, I would be so much easier to threaten. Thamtan Mat completely stripped off all of her expensive designer brands, deciding to wear just faded jeans and a plain white tee. She came barefaced with swollen red eyes, looking like she washed away all worldly vanity for true love. Tattoo was still wearing his delivery uniform, protectively pulling her into his arms. His eyes held that arrogant look of a poor man completely looking down on wealthy capitalists. "Trantrak," he boldly declared, "we are definitely not here today to demand money."
The second Taitu opened his mouth, that radiating righteous vibe just made me want to burst out laughing. He declared they came to end everything completely.
Tham Tung Mat quickly nodded along, echoing her lover's exact words. She begged me to let them go, claiming they only wanted to live a very simple, ordinary life together. The massive crowd of reporters behind them instantly raised their cameras, pointing every single lens right at my face. Amidst the chaotic, flashing lights, I suddenly turned into the rich bully abusing his power, standing squarely in the way of a perfect couple's happiness. My mother was trembling with pure anger, needing my father's firm support to avoid exploding right there. Then Tatu pulled out a crumpled cloth bag, taking out cash and a jewelry box. He announced this was the money Tham Thang Mat spent from me. He stated they calculated it all and every single thing was right here. They were even returning my gifts, declaring that from now on, no one owed anyone anything. He pushed the pile toward me, moving with a deeply arrogant sense of supposed inner peace. I slowly opened that little jewelry box up. Inside was the very first necklace I had ever bought for Tham Tung Mat. I casually glanced over the cash pile, only a few tens of thousands. Using a few tens of thousands to completely buy out 5 years of her youth and the entire Tran family's investment? That is honestly the biggest joke in the world. On what grounds do you think I would just accept this loss? I look right at them, keeping my voice completely calm. Tatu frowns, raising his tone. Trantrack, do not push us too far.
Tengmat already chose to be with me. Do you really want to drag this out until everyone ends up looking down on you?
We genuinely love each other, something a guy reeking of money like you will never ever understand. He actually thinks he is holding the moral high ground, assuming I care even a little bit about something as useless as saving face.
I stare at his face, crushed by reality, yet still acting so pure, and I just laugh out loud. Fine, I will grant your wish. My unexpected answer instantly leaves every single person standing there in absolute shock.
Tham Tung Mat's completely disbelieving eyes slowly lose their deep wariness and fear, while Tatu's tense expression visibly softens, his lips curving upward to form a highly triumphant, very satisfied smile. But I have one proposal, I say slowly. What kind of proposal exactly?
Tatu gets instantly guarded. Is it money? I do not need any of this. Just take it back. I casually push every single item on the table back over.
Since it is true love, breaking through class boundaries and all, a magnificent romance like this absolutely should not remain buried in the dark.
I look over at Tham Tung Mat, who just stares back at me, blankly. I have decided to establish a True Love Observation Project, a program entirely dedicated to documenting and fully funding incredibly brave couples exactly like you two.
Risking absolutely everything just for true love. I take the thick folder right from my assistant's hands and smoothly slide it forward. This right here is the official True Love Observation Agreement.
Pay close attention to this trap. I will provide you a brand new living environment plus 100,000 yuan every single month as a love fund.
Your only real job is to fully accept our production crew, filming you 24 hours a day for a full year, letting the entire world see exactly what pure, completely untainted love, unbothered by money, truly looks like in action.
Tham Tung Mat and Tatu's eyes instantly light up with intense excitement.
100,000 yuan monthly, zero actual work, just showing off their romance. For two people with absolutely nothing, this is basically like winning the ultimate life-changing jackpot from heaven. But my tone suddenly shifts. Once this contract is signed, there is absolutely no backing out midway.
We hold all rights to fully edit and publicly release the footage. During this period, you two definitely cannot accept any other financial sponsorship from absolutely anyone else besides me.
Every single living expense must come strictly from this love fund. I am literally using my wealth to build them a magnificent, highly publicized romance live streaming studio, while simultaneously using that same money to bind them tightly with heavy shackles, cleverly disguised as true love. Tatu barely hesitates, grabbing the pen to sign immediately, but Tham Tung Mat quickly pulls him back, a brief flash of deep unease crossing her face. Trantrack, what exactly are you trying to do? What am I doing? I cut her off instantly. I just want to see if your choice was actually right. I smile, looking incredibly sincere. From the moment you wanted me to just fade away on the street for him, all that remains between us is pure business. Now that I am paying good money to watch a show, you should feel highly honored. In the very end, Tatu happily signs it.
Them Tang Mat watches the ink settle, the very last spark of light in her eyes fading completely.
They hold the contract, leaving joyfully while surrounded by eager reporters. The local media immediately drops this massive breaking news everywhere. A wealthy heir blesses the happy lovers, generously creating a massive true love observation project to witness a beautiful romance that completely transcends our modern era. My public reputation completely flips from pitiful victim to the absolute most devoted ex-boyfriend in the entire solar system. Meanwhile, I just calmly look out the window, tapping my phone, strictly investigate Tatu for me. Are you seeing where this is heading? Dig up all his social connections and hidden debts. This amazing little show has only just started.
Mat and Tatu very quickly move into the specific apartment I carefully prepared for them.
Not some fancy luxury villa, but a rather old, completely run-down top-floor apartment in a busy residential area right downtown. Exactly 2 bedrooms, 1 living room, and absolutely 0 elevator access. Officially, it is just to properly experience authentic, simple, everyday living. Amazingly, their brand new True Love Observation broadcast account gains literally millions of loyal followers overnight after just 1 single day. Ta completely quits his food delivery job, boldly claiming he wants to fully dedicate his entire life to loving Tang Mat. The reality? He is spending my money to live a comfortable lifestyle he never even dreamed of. On camera, they try really hard to play the perfectly happy couple. Tatu clumsily cooks a simple breakfast for a waiting Than Mat. Burnt eggs and completely charred bread are still passionately praised by fans as the sweet taste of love. Meanwhile, Tang Mat wears simple clothes to cheap markets, complaining about rising prices, while getting highly praised for being so wonderfully relatable. Their everyday lives consist entirely of casually strolling around, watching movies, and hugging inside that tiny apartment, with countless admiring blessings constantly flooding the comments under every single video. This is what true love actually looks like. Too sweet, honestly crying. She gave up extreme wealth to confidently choose love. So incredibly brave. Tatu even blatantly replies right there in the busy comment section.
As long as I am with Tang Mat, I would happily live under a bridge. They use me as a convenient stepping stone, trampling my reputation while flawlessly acting out a perfectly happy but impoverished married couple's little drama.
And I am just the foolish guy transferring their funds on time. My assistant eventually cannot hold back her deep frustration anymore. Director Tran, what exactly are you trying to accomplish with this? They are literally using your own money to flaunt their romance right in your face. I just wave my hand slightly, silently signaling her to stop talking. Sitting right on my desk is a massive file sent over by a private investigator. According to it, Tatu looks like a hard-working guy struggling in the city, but underneath it all, he is actually a massive certified gambling addict. That so-called debt for his mother's medical bills, it is actually just money he lost in underground casinos. Him getting close to Tang Mat was a carefully calculated scheme right from the very start. He needed a human ATM, a stepping stone to change his life. And Tang Mat, this totally naive rich girl, completely blinded by romance, was just the absolute perfect prey in his eyes. That love fund I provided for them? Beyond their obvious daily living expenses, a really massive chunk of it is quietly draining straight into sketchy online betting sites. This hole is way deeper than I thought. Tatu gets increasingly greedy, starting to make up all sorts of excuses to ask the crew for extra cash, saying Tang Mat has poor health, wanting to buy high-end supplements. Claiming he wants to give her a sweet surprise and redecorate the filming room. I just nod to it all, fully approving every single request. I want to lift him up really high, letting him drown completely in the illusion that he gets paid for doing absolutely nothing. But here is where things take a wild turn. Tang Mat suddenly calls me up, her voice choking back pure panic. Trinchek, can you do me a favor? I lean back in my chair, calmly asking what is going on. She says Tatu's mother is sick, needs emergency surgery, and requires a massive sum. Her voice is trembling hard. They do not have enough cash on hand, so could I possibly advance them a few months of the fund? Just treat it as a loan. She promises to pay it back. Chun check. His mom is seriously ill. They cannot delay this for another second. I arrive at the hospital and find Ta-Tu squatting in front of the operating room, clutching his head, looking totally devastated. Meanwhile, Thumtang Mat stands right beside him, eyes red as a little rabbit. Seeing me, Ta-Tu jumps straight up, showing a brief flash of embarrassment before rushing over. Brother Chun, you actually made it. The way he calls me Brother Chun sounds so incredibly smooth, completely losing all that arrogance he had back at my place. I do not answer him, just asking Thumtang Mat about the situation. She chokes up, saying the doctor diagnosed acute appendicitis, needs immediate surgery, or it is going to be incredibly dangerous. The surgery costs 50,000 yuan, and She trails off, but the meaning is clear. I nod, telling my assistant to pay the bill. Ta-Tu's face instantly lights up with tearful gratitude, bowing over and over again. Thank you, Brother Turn. Truly, thank you so much. You are basically our family's greatest hero right now. I will work like a dog to pay this cash back to you. I watch him act, feeling nothing but a cold smile inside. Acute appendicitis? I already investigated thoroughly. His mother is perfectly healthy, absolutely nothing wrong with her at all. This sudden illness is just a dramatic play he directed himself, purely to wring some quick cash out of me. I step into the hospital room, and this supposedly gravely ill mother is lying in bed, looking totally rosy-cheeked, instantly avoiding my eyes. I do not expose them, just pretending to be caring. Rest well. Please do not worry about the money. Then I turn back to Ta-Tu, saying we should pause the broadcast for now, letting him stay here to take proper care of his mom.
Ta-Tu immediately nods eagerly, but then I completely change my tone. The contract states very clearly, if filming suddenly stops for personal reasons, that month's love fund automatically stops paying out.
Ta-Tu's face goes totally pale, while Thumtang Mat looks stunned. Chun Jack, what do you mean? We are not doing this on purpose.
I casually reply that rules are rules. Then I pause for a brief second, smiling. Of course, I am not a heartless guy. I can personally lend you two a sum to help get through this tough time. I take the contract right from my assistant, adding that Ta-Tu must sign it. It is a loan shark contract with an absolutely terrifying interest rate. Thumtang Mat starts trembling.
Chun Jack, are you taking advantage of our misery? She shakes with anger, but Ta-Tu pulls her back, eyes glued to the paper like it is a literal lifeline.
He needs this cash not just for hospital bills, but to fill his completely bottomless gambling debt. Without any hesitation, he grabs the pen and signs his name. After signing, he even flashes a flattering smile. Thank you, Brother Chun. Thank you so much. You have to see the irony here. He thinks he won, completely unaware that from the second he signed, he became a fish on my chopping block. Getting his hands on that fresh cash, Ta-Tu's greed swells even bigger. He is no longer satisfied with those petty online tricks. He immediately starts hitting up those high-end private clubs and shady underground casinos. He actually thinks his actions are so secretive that absolutely no one knows a thing, completely oblivious that every single step he takes is strictly under my direct, constant surveillance. As for Thumtang Mat, she foolishly stays at the hospital, caring for her supposedly gravely ill mother-in-law. Every single day she goes on live stream, showing off her dedication. Fans are so deeply moved, they are literally brought to tears by it. Thang Mat is such a good girl. Marrying her is Ta-Tu's biggest blessing. Wow, this is what real love through hardship actually looks like. Hardship? I just stare at the photos my investigators sent over. In them, Ta-Tu has girls on both arms at the table, throwing cash without blinking, laughing maniacally. Meanwhile, on the other side, Thumtang Mat is washing fruit in freezing water, her hands cracking from the cold. Honestly, the most bitter irony ever. It does not take long before Ta-Tu loses every cent. This time, he comes looking for me again, not even bothering to bring Thumtang Mat, showing up completely alone. He kneels in my office, crying pitifully, slapping his own face. He makes up this entire story about being pressured by friends, getting tricked into gambling. He says he only wanted to win a little money to give Thumtang Mat a better life. Mr. Churn, I was wrong. I was so wrong. Please, just help me one more time. I swear this is the last time. If you just help me pay off this massive debt, I will work like a dog for you for the rest of my life. He actually thinks I'm going to go soft on him like last time. I just stare at the guy groveling on the floor, totally expressionless.
Okay, just one single word, and Tatu instantly stops his sobbing. He snaps his head up, his eyes absolutely burning with joy, like he just got a second chance at life.
But I have one condition. I stand up, walking right over to him. What condition? I will agree to 100 of them. I look down at him from above, a pretty cold smile curling on my lips. I want you to go on a live stream and tell Thum Tang Mart the absolute truth about something. Tatu's face instantly changes color. Tell her the truth about what? I toss a thick file folder down right in front of him. Inside is his entire gambling history, along with all the chat logs of him manipulating and sweet-talking other girls. Do you want to lose everything and have loan sharks hunt you down? Or do you listen to me? It's your choice. Tatur is shaking uncontrollably, cold sweat soaking his collar.
He stares at me like he's looking at an actual demon. After a long pause, he grits his teeth and forces out 2 words. I choose.
That evening, the live stream for the True Love Observation Show hits an absolute record-breaking number of viewers. Rumors are flying that Tatsu has a massive surprise prepared for Thum Tang Mat. Everyone thinks it's going to be this insanely romantic marriage proposal.
Thum Tang Mat, even dressed up in a gorgeous gown, sitting in front of the camera full of pure anticipation. Tatu walks up to her holding a huge bouquet.
He takes a deep breath and, with the entire country watching, drops down on both knees. But the very first sentence out of his mouth completely shocks everyone.
Thum Tang Mat, I am so sorry. I lied to you. Tatu's sudden confession drops like a literal nuclear bomb exploding all over the internet.
He doesn't mention a single thing about his gambling. Instead, he plays right along with the script I wrote, spinning a tragic story. He claims he has a childhood sweetheart younger sister who got severely sick. To gather money for her treatment,
He was forced to take a mission from a mysterious guy. His job was to approach the rich heiress Thum Tang Mat, make her fall in love, and ruin her wedding to get revenge on her fiancé.
At first, I only did it for the money, to save my sister. But, Thum Tang Mat, while being with you, I actually fell in love with you. Your gentle and pure heart completely trapped me. Every single day, I was in agony and totally tormented. I wanted to tell the truth, but I was terrified of losing you. Today, I do not want to lie to you anymore. Thum Tang Mat, I am so sorry. Saying that, he slams his forehead to the ground. The live stream instantly explodes, comments totally flooding the screen. Now honestly, are you seeing this madness? Drama of the year! Turns out there's a mastermind behind the scenes, and this is some crazy prince's revenge script.
That mysterious guy is definitely that Chun dude. Oh my god, poor Tatu. He did it all just to save his sick sister. He really loves Thum Tang Mat.
Public opinion instantly shifts directions. They go from blaming Tatu to completely attacking me, the supposed evil mastermind.
And Thum Tang Mat, I actually thought she would break down. But after a few seconds of shock, she just cries and helps Tatu up.
She hugs him, crying while speaking. It is okay. I know now. You did not do it on purpose. You did it to save your sister. So I forgive you. As long as you truly love me, that is enough.
She actually chooses to believe that completely flawed lie. She chooses to stand with her tragic male lead and face off against me, the cruel villain.
They hold each other tight, performing this touching show of true love, defeating all evil schemes.
I watched these two crying and hugging on the screen, and I almost burst out laughing. Thum Tang Mat, you are honestly stupid beyond any hope of a cure.
You really think choosing to forgive him means your pure love will somehow elevate to the next level? But here is the thing. She has no clue this play is only just hitting its main climax. I called Tatu to the company. He walks in looking super anxious, his voice shaking. Mr. Chen, I did exactly what you asked me to do. I do not answer, just sliding a bank card over to him. There's 500,000 in here, enough to pay off a good chunk of your debt. His face instantly lights up, bowing constantly as he thanks me over and over. Thank you, Mr. Chun. Thank you so much. Not so fast. I cut him off, my gaze completely cold. This game is not over yet. I lean back in my chair, looking at him with this perfectly calm stare. For the next step, I need you to do something. Something? What kind of thing?
he asks super cautiously. I want you to go and find that little sister of yours, the one who does not even exist. Ta-tur freezes, his eyes going wide. Mr. Chan, where am I supposed to find her? That sister was completely made up by me in the first place. Good. My voice goes freezing cold. Then you better make her real. My tone is completely flat. 3 days. Within exactly 3 days.
I want to see a girl named Ta-Twit lying in a hospital bed. She needs to have leukemia, urgently needing a bone marrow transplant, and you are her only hope. I push a ready-made file over to him, packed with fake medical records and forged documents.
Go find an actress. She doesn't need to be pretty, just looking absolutely miserable and knowing how to cry. I'll cover all the expenses. Tatu's hands shake violently as he takes the stack of documents, sweat pouring down his forehead. Right at this moment, he finally figures it out. I never wanted to help him. I'm pushing him into a dead end. Every single lie demands countless other lies just to patch up the holes. And I've got the reins held tight. Step by step, he's falling deeper into the trap I laid out, with absolutely zero way to turn back now. Exactly 3 days later, a girl named Ta-Twit actually appears right in front of the public. She lies in that hospital bed, completely pale and frail. Tears fall endlessly as she tells the heartbreaking story about her and her brother, Tatu. Just 2 siblings, relying on each other, living a really hard life, but loving one another deeply. Crying out, she says her brother is the absolute best person in the world, suffering so much just for her. She begs Tam Teng Mat not to blame him, saying it is all her fault. If possible, she would gladly trade her own existence for their happiness. The whole scene is acted out way too perfectly. The True Love Observation broadcast instantly turns right into a massive, heartbreaking tragedy stage that is completely overflowing with tears. Tons of netizens are deeply moved by this sacred sibling bond, rushing to donate. And Thum Teng Mart is shaken even more.
She cares for Ta-Twit like a real sister, staying by her bed daily, cooking soup, and giving medicine. Her eyes look at Tatu with so much love and admiration.
In her eyes, Tatu is now a deeply responsible man with true loyalty, a real hero totally willing to endure any hardship for the woman he loves and his family.
Tatu gets completely lost in his own acting role, actually starting to believe he is the main hero of this deeply moving story.
He even uses the excuse of treating his sister to start live streams, selling all sorts of shady, random products to his viewers. Most of the money he earns flows straight into the casino. Until one day, the hospital announces the results. They found a matching bone marrow donor for Ta-Twit. That person is none other than Thum Teng Mart herself. My assistant actually leaks this news to the media by total accident. The headlines across every single newspaper immediately blow up everywhere. The perfect romance of the century reaches its peak. A wealthy lady donates marrow to save her boyfriend's gravely ill sister. In just a single night, Thum Teng Mat gets praised to the absolute heavens. She becomes a pure symbol of kindness, greatness, and total selflessness. The whole internet is totally flooded with praise and deep emotion. But when Tatu hears the news, his face turns completely pale, losing all its color. He rushes straight into my office, yelling out for the very first time, "Trung Check, what are you actually trying to do here?"
Why let Thum Teng Mat donate her marrow? He screams that I clearly know Ta-Twit is a total fake. I just look up, staring at him calmly.
I tell him I just want to help him perfectly finish his little story. Now that everyone out there knows Thum Teng Mat is donating marrow to his sister, isn't that a truly massive favor? I stand up, walk right over, and pat his shoulder. So, Tatu, how do you plan to repay her? His entire body shivers right then, finally realizing he has absolutely no way out anymore. If he admits Ta-Twit is fake right now, and the whole transplant is a lie, then every single previous lie of his will be completely exposed. At that exact moment, he would go from the world's most touching hero straight into the most hated scumbag of the entire century. He would lose absolutely everything. Thum Teng Mat, his entire reputation, and the whole internet would literally tear him apart. But watch what this guy does. He just grits his teeth, continues the fake act, and watches Thum Teng Mat walk into that surgery room for his sister.
On surgery day, the hospital entrance is totally packed with reporters. Tatu stands directly outside the operating room.
He fakes being the anxious waiting man. 1 second, he holds the patient's mother's hand to comfort her, and the next, he turns to the cameras with highly emotional words.
He cries out that Thangmat is the greatest savior of his life. He actually swears that his future belongs entirely to her, promising to marry her the second she gets out of surgery. He plays the role so incredibly flawlessly that honestly, even I almost believe him.
The surgery ends up being extremely successful.
When Thangmat is rolled out of the operating room, her face is quite pale, yet her eyes are totally shining with this deep, satisfied happiness.
She truly believes that through her own actions, she has finally proven to the entire world that her love with Tatu is genuine, deeply solid, and absolutely unshakable. Lying in her hospital bed, she smiles softly, already imagining their beautiful future after she recovers. She pictures a simple but happy wedding with Tatu. But here is the brutal reality. She has absolutely no idea that the gates of total misery just cracked open right in front of her. Right after Thangmat gets discharged from the hospital, Tatsu's entire attitude toward her takes a complete 180. He is no longer that perfectly gentle model boyfriend from before. He starts losing all his patience, even throwing out really harsh, bitter words.
Thangmat is still weak và just wants some hot water, but Tatu is gaming. Without even looking up, he snaps, asking if she has no hands, complaining that her daily bossing around is incredibly annoying.
Thangmat asks him to take a short walk with her, but he just snaps back, questioning why they even need to go.
He says he is completely exhausted and tells her to go by herself. Feeling deeply wronged, Thangmat cries, saying Tatsu was never like this before.
Tater lets out a cold laugh and throws his phone on the table. He says the past is the past, warning Thangmat not to forget that she owes him. Thangmat totally freezes, asking what she could possibly owe him. He tells her she owes him a life, his face turning incredibly vicious.
He snarls that donating marrow to his sister makes her their huge savior. If he doesn't marry her now, wouldn't that make him an absolutely ungrateful piece of trash?
He screams that he has to work like a total slave forever just to repay her.
He blames her for ruining him and destroying his romance, claiming his love was supposed to be pure. Now, he says, everything has just turned into a forced repayment.
Thangmat gets yelled at so intensely that she stammers, completely unable to speak a single word. She just cannot understand why her massive sacrifice resulted in such an awful outcome.
Their entire argument gets fully recorded by the livestream camera. The atmosphere in the stream room instantly shifts once again. What is happening? How did Tatu turn into something this terrifying? Man, this guy is absolutely unhinged. This right here is pure emotional blackmail. Poor Thangmat.
She sacrificed so much for him, and this is how he treats her? Under the heavy pressure of all these favors, their so-called love completely twists and warps into something toxic.
Tatu feels like her heavy sacrifices are chaining him down, completely stripping away his freedom.
Meanwhile, Thangmat feels like her genuine devotion is being treated like absolute garbage. They start arguing endlessly, and it even turns physical.
Their tiny rented apartment turns into a literal battlefield. Eventually, Thangmat just snaps.
Crying, she packs her bags to leave, but Tatu snatches her suitcase and hurls it down. You want to leave? Thangmat, do not even try. He shoves her hard onto the sofa, eyes full of rage. You really thought my house is a place you can just walk in and out of. You ruined my entire life, and now you think you can just walk away this easily? Starting today, you are not going anywhere. He smashes her phone, yanks out the internet cable, and locks her inside what used to be their sweet home. Thangmat is completely trapped. The livestream room, the very same channel that once witnessed their romance, now becomes a public stage exposing pure domestic abuse.
Tatu stops pretending entirely. Right on camera, he openly curses and shoves Thangmat around. He dumps every single bit of his frustration onto her, blaming her for everything.
If it were not for you, would I have ended up like this? You absolute jinx, you miserable excuse for a woman.
As for Thum Thang Mat, she goes from fighting back to going numb, finally sinking into bottomless despair, tormented until she barely looks human, just skin, bones, and empty eyes.
The neighbor I secretly placed next door reports their situation to me every single day without fail.
Sir, Miss Thum got beaten again today. Her face is covered in bruises. Sir, Tatu smashed everything in the house. He says he wants to end it all.
Sir, Miss Thumb tried to use glass to end her pain, but got caught, and he beat her even worse. I listen to these reports, and my heart feels absolutely nothing.
Now, pay attention here. This is exactly what she deserves. When she helped Tatu sabotage my car brakes, she should have known this day would come.
When she claimed the absolute moral high ground, pointing at me, saying I was rusty and clueless about love, she really should have guessed the true face of that pure romance. So I decide to toss one final match onto this theatrical stage. Using the reality show's name, I arrange one final romantic confession for the two of them. I tell Tatu, if he just makes up with Thum Thang Mat on the live stream and proposes publicly, I will completely wipe out every single cent of his debt. I will even throw in 1 million for them to leave. Tatu hesitates. He desperately needs that cash to start a brand new life. So he drops to his knees before Thum Thang Mat again, sobbing bitterly, saying he was blinded by demons before, swearing he cannot go on living without her. Thum Thang Mat looked down at the man she once loved so deeply, but her eyes do not hold a single ounce of emotion anymore.
She coldly asks him, "Are you done acting?" Tatu freezes up. Thum Thang Mat bursts into laughter, but the smile is incredibly tragic.
Tatu, do you honestly think I am that completely stupid? She pulls something out from behind her back, an audio recorder, loudly playing a conversation between Tatu and another woman. That exact woman is the hired actress who played his fake sister, Ta Tuet.
"Hey, Tu, when are you paying me the rest of my money?" "What is the rush? Just wait until I get the cash from Chuncheck. I will not short you."
But honestly, you are pretty amazing at this, playing that idiot Thum Thang Mat like a literal puppet on a string.
She actually thinks she is Mother Mary, rushing over to donate her bone marrow to you. Ha! A woman that stupid? If we do not scam her, who will?
Once I get my hands on the money, I am dumping her. Then the two of us can run far away together. You feel the tension snapping here, right? The recording rings out loud and clear, exposing the most brutal truth right in front of millions of nationwide viewers. Tatu's face turns instantly pale, and in a total panic, he lunges forward to snatch the recording pen. But Thum Thang Mat quickly steps to the side.
Tata, I was absolutely blind to ever love a piece of trash like you. Thum Thang Mat's voice is as cold as solid ice.
Because of you, I betrayed Chuncheck, threw away absolutely everything, and even thought about ending his life. And what did you do?
You lied to me from start to finish, just used me. The live stream chat instantly explodes. What the heck is going on? An absolutely massive plot twist.
So the sister is fake, and everything was a scam. Man, is Tatiazu an actual demon? So disgusting. Why does a guy like this even exist?
Just disappear already. In her sheer despair, Thum Thang Mat accidentally blurted out her most fatal secret, personally dragging both herself and Tatsu down into a bottomless abyss. Tatur stares blankly at the screen, where the comments are flooding by like a storm, knowing full well he is completely finished. He turns back to look at Thum Thang Mat, and the very last shred of his sanity shatters. It is you. This is all your fault. You ruined me. He lunges at her like a rabid beast, screaming, "If we are going down, I am sending you first." Then he violently chokes Thum Thang Mat, pinning her to the floor.
The camera frame on the live stream violently shakes around, and then suddenly cuts to pitch black.
But her agonizing screams and his crazed roaring still echo through the microphone, broadcasting across the entire internet. I do not call the cops. I just sit there quietly, listening until those sounds completely fade away into nothingness. And right then, I know the game is finally over.
When the cops finally smashed through that door, Tatu and Tom Tong Mat are both collapsed on the floor. Tatu had struck her with a fruit knife, before severely harming himself right after.
They both actually pull through this, but one is heavily injured and the other permanently ruined. Waiting for them is the ultimate legal payback and completely hopeless years behind bars. That rented house, once overflowing with all their lies, violence, and dark secrets, gets totally sealed off for good. That shocking romance that once stirred up the entire city finally closes out with the most tragic and deeply messy ending you could imagine.
Several days later.
Tam Tang Mat's parents actually tracked me down. This same couple who once coldly looked down on me, constantly supporting their daughter's so-called true love. Right now, they are literally crying so hard their entire bodies shake.
They beg CEO Tran, saying they were wrong, totally blind, pleading for mercy to give Tang Mat one last way out. Looking at them, I find the whole thing completely laughable. Give her a way out? Then who exactly was giving me one? I hand over every single technical report about the brake failure, along with the undeniable video evidence.
Tham Tang Mat confessed her fatal intentions during that live stream, straight to the police. After that moment, I never see her face again.
The very last time I hear anything about Tom Tong Mat is in the social column of a local newspaper.
Thanks to her unstable mental state, she caused constant trouble behind bars, eventually getting transferred to a psychiatric hospital facility. Rumor has it, she sits in her hospital room every single day, constantly mumbling to empty air, alternating between crying and laughing, endlessly repeating the exact same word. Karma. Hearing this news, my heart doesn't feel a single ripple, just an infinite emptiness. I delete absolutely all data, photos, and records connected to them from my phone, wiping it completely clean, as if they never even existed in my life to begin with. I take a solo trip up to the exact temple where Tom Tang Mat once prayed for my safety years ago. This ancient temple is thick with incense, bells echoing endlessly, smoke drifting right into the blue sky.
I stand in front of the main hall, quietly staring up at the gentle Buddha statue, not saying a word for ages.
A sweeping monk passes by, pressing his hands together, telling me the Buddha teaches that dropping the butcher's blade brings instant enlightenment. I just smile faintly and shake my head. I am no Buddha, just a normal guy who settles his debts. Now that my ultimate revenge is complete, all those old stories should scatter with the wind. I turn around and leave the temple, that blinding sunlight piercing straight into my eyes. My phone vibrates with a reminder about a flight to the Southern Hemisphere, a trip I booked a long time ago. This right here, this is where my brand new life truly and finally just begins.